No one likes to think about disasters during a vacation, but when you get on a cruise, the first thing they talk about is what to do in terms of a disaster. The thing is, they never talk about what to do if you're in a wheelchair. And so today we are actually going to go through what they don't talk about in the muster drill. We have some inside information from Disney's safety team, and they walked us through what would happen. So join us as we demystify the evacuation and emergency procedures for wheelchair users. Ever been on a cruise? You know that one of the first things you do is the muster drill.
A muster drill is a safety procedure that all cruise lines have to go through before they leave port. It is mandatory that every person do the muster drill. And so you're in your assigned stateroom, in the back of the door, you have your muster station, also on your CPAS card, key to the work card or whatever you want to call it, it has your muster station. Right. So approximately half an hour to 45 minutes before we leave port, everyone must go through the muster drill and basically go to their assigned stations. For evacuation, in the case of an emergency, you have to go to your muster station to know what to do or figure out where to go.
On a cruise ship, every room is designated a muster station. During that muster drill, they tell everyone to avoid the elevators, don't use the stairs. When you're in a wheelchair, they allow you to use the elevators. There's typically a line that says something along the lines of like, for people with mobility concerns, there will be additional help available. But during the muster drill, they don't actually go into what that additional information is. And so we had the opportunity here on the Disney Destiny to speak with the Chief Safety Officer on board.
Francesca from Italy on the Disney Destiny. So, but yeah, it was very, very informative.
Let's talk about what happens during an actual emergency. First, there will be what they call the general alarm. That's the only alarm on a cruise ship that requires you to take action. And it's several short bursts followed by a really long one.
You may want to cover your ears.
Can't miss it. It'll play in all the rooms. And when that happens, you are supposed to, and there probably will be announcements
and
saying
stuff,
that you should grab your life vest, grab your passport, critical medications, and probably like a jacket if you have it, and head to your muster station. It's that point that it immediately deviates for folks in a wheelchair. Prior to sounding the alarm, she will already have her crew in place. So the crew has a separate alarm that says like, okay, get ready, we're gonna do the general alarm.
Right.
And then they do the general alarm. And I always thought it was, there's an emergency and then they hit the button and then everybody acts, right? It's not like that. They have a calmer approach, even if terrible things are happening. When you hear that alarm, grab your critical things. And as soon as you leave your room, you are going to see some of the crew in life vests and safety gear and fluorescent vests. Like, you cannot miss them.
Right.
And they are there to guide you. And so what you will do is immediately go to one of them. In terms of the staff available, each evacuation zone has 12 to 15 people who are there dedicated to helping people. So you will not have any challenge finding someone to help. As soon as they see you, they're gonna ask, do you need help getting down? And you're gonna say yes, and then they're going to direct you somewhere on your deck. It might be near an elevator lobby, they're gonna have a space where they're gonna ask you to go wait. And they're immediately going to radio the team. Once they have your cabin information and all of that, they're going to bring an evacuation chair. The evacuation chair is a wheelchair to help you get down the stairs. The evac chair does have straps as well, and so they are going to strap you in for safety. So if you don't have trunk control, things of that nature, don't worry about it. They're making sure that you stay in that chair.
Yes.
It is operated by another person. It's not something you operate yourself. It has 3 wheels and
a roller belt,
kind of like a tank that helps them take you down or up the stairs, depending on the situation. They will get you to your muster station. They will give you the choice whether you want them to operate the chair or do you want someone from your family to operate the chair.
Right.
Do you need a lift to get into the chair? Do you need just support as you pivot and transfer yourself into the chair?
Because again, some people are more comfortable with family members helping them other than like a random stranger. Even though it's a critical step, they always ask, hey, do you mind if I grab you? She was very clear that says they are trained to ask and make sure that the person is comfortable with being touched, grabbed, lifted, and so forth.
That she said that her team is trained to be calm, and because the ship's not going to sink in a second. Like they're quick, but also they're taking their time to do it right. They are going to take you in that evac chair to your muster station, and they will have a particular spot for people with mobility issues to sit, and it's likely going to be the same place you go sit when you are doing the muster drill. There's a reason that they have you sit in a particular spot. They also have special areas for people with autism or folks who just get overwhelmed and need a quieter space, because they know people are stressed out in this situation, and so they try to accommodate lots of different abilities and needs going into this. So once you are at your muster station, they may need to take the evac chair from you to go help someone else. In that case, they have emergency wheelchairs. She mentioned that they're red, and they will transfer you or help you transfer, or you transfer to one of those chairs.
One piece of information they told us was that your chair has to stay wherever it is. Once they transfer, you will no longer be able to get your chair.
So if you have a power chair, your chair is staying wherever it was.
Yeah.
If you have a manual chair that folds, you may be able to bring that and sit in that chair. I imagine that if you have specialized cushion, you can bring it with you. I don't see any reason why you couldn't do that.
Yeah, okay.
If it's determined that they need to abandon ship, a different team takes over to transfer everyone to the lifeboats. Again, someone will bring you to the lifeboats. You will be the last person to get in the lifeboat. The wheelchair user will be loaded last because they want you to be taken off the lifeboat first. Now remember, these lifeboats are counted. They have exactly the number of lifeboats that they need for the number of passengers. They cannot book. Sometimes there might be a room that sleeps 3, and if you come late to the cruise and you're like, hey, I want to add another person, if they've already maxed out the number of people for the lifeboats for that section, they're going to say, sorry, no. You're not going to let you add a person. I've seen it happen because they do not exceed the capacity of the lifeboat. There is a spot for you in the lifeboat.
When the abandoned ship signal is given, then basically they load you into the lifeboat, and then so all the other chairs and stuff stay on the boat. And so you will have your passport and all that. They're going to call ahead or let people know on shore. So we have people who will need additional assistance in powered chairs or wheelchairs.
And I know the thought of leaving your wheelchair behind can be particularly scary, especially if you have very specialized equipment. But also remember, if you're getting to this point, you've got bigger problems.
So,
it is understandable that they cannot accommodate wheelchairs on the lifeboats. The lifeboats are for the people to keep them alive. When they submit their Mayday signal, they are also going to let them know how many people need assistance.
They know this by when you sign up or when you, booked your cruise, you indicated that you need additional assistance. So when they get the manifest, they know, oh yeah, Sharon in that cabin needs assistance.
The form that he's talking about is the special services form. When I book trips for people who use wheelchairs, I document that when I'm doing the booking in the special services section to say that they use a wheelchair. I will also make notes like, please make the pool lift available if they want it, things of that nature. And that is the list that they're using. And when you check into the cruise, there is yet another opportunity to note your special services. And so even if your travel agent's doing it, go ahead and do it again, because there's no harm in doing it twice.
Right.
And that way you know that your bases are covered and that they are fully aware that you are using mobility equipment and or need mobility assistance. Let's say the alarm happens when you're not in your room. Let's say you're at Marceline Market and getting some lunch and something happens. If you cannot get back to your room, you can alert the crew member that's assisting you, and they will send someone to your room to get your passports and your medication. And that is all the more reason to make sure that and we've given this advice before, but when you are in a cruise, put your passports in the safe, even if you're not locking them up, because that's where they're going to look for them. And I'm going to add to that advice, put your medication somewhere that you can easily describe. Whether you have a special shelf for medication or you use the side drawer, don't have your medication all over the place. Have your medication in a dedicated spot so that if an emergency happens, you can very clearly tell someone where to get your stuff. That is just generally a good idea, because it doesn't have to be an abandoned ship situation. It could be you get sick in the port and need to go to a hospital, and you need them to collect your medication
and passport and stuff like that.
Before the ship leaves without you while you're at the hospital. So there's lots of reasons for it. But make sure that you put it somewhere so that you could very clearly say to the person, or that your spouse or whoever you're traveling with can tell them, his medication is here, her medication's over there. But they will help you with that if you're not in your room when the
General alarm
is sounded. Similarly, they have additional life vests at the muster station. So if you can't get to your life vest, or if you're by yourself in your room, because the life vests are always too high for someone in a wheelchair to reach.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Just leave without them, and they will get them for you. No trying to do acrobatics to get your life vest. Just go anyway, and they will get them for you. Or, somebody in the hall might see you don't have one and go run in your room and grab it. Either way, they will take care of that. One of the things that impressed me the most about her is that she cared deeply about her job. They train on this regularly.
A lot.
When a new crew member comes on board, they are immediately trained on evacuation procedures. And then
and their roles and stuff, yeah.
Right. And for the traffic control staff that are responsible for the evacuations, they have a meeting monthly where they go through and practice evacuating a person.
Right.
And that includes evacuating a person in need of mobility assistance. They have weighted dummies in multiple weights, apparently, so that they can make sure that they are able to accommodate all kinds of bodies.
Right.
In helping them get out. They will have 2 to 4 people helping each person that needs a mobility assistance get down the stairs.
Right. They do a lot of training consistently all the time. Different decks, you hear them going on, especially while in port.
And they do the full thing. Adam watched them pull a body out of the water on our last cruise. Like, they are, fully trained and practiced on all of these scenarios. She is quite proud of the way that they practice and feels confident that her team is ready should there be an emergency. And so I asked her, as our final question, what did she want cruisers to know, particularly cruisers with disabilities, to know about coming on Disney cruise ship? Basically, she said, I want you to know that we've got you. She said that we want everyone to feel comfortable.
Right.
And we work constantly to make sure that everyone is safe, that everyone is able to enjoy their cruise. And that means that we practice all kinds of scenarios for all kinds of disabilities, whether it's cognitive or physical. They are working to make sure that they are prepared. And she also put out an invitation and said, if there is a situation that you think is really unique that they haven't prepared for, she wants to know. Go to guest services and ask them, do they have a process for XYZ? And if not, they will come up with one.
Yeah.
Because they are constantly trying to improve and make the experience for people with disabilities comfortable and safe here on Disney Cruise Line. And we can see evidence of that.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. They're doing
everything they can.
Very good job of making sure that people feel comfortable and safe here on their ships. And so if you have any questions about safety on board Disney cruise ship or other lines, because a lot of these things will translate into other cruise lines,
right,
sort of standard practices. If you have questions, please leave them below. If you would like assistance booking your cruise to have the experience of someone who knows about and lives accessibility and can make sure that you are prepared in all the ways and everything is documented so that you have a safe and comfortable and wonderful cruise, please feel free to reach out to me and I would be happy to assist you. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but by booking through us, you are supporting the channel. And so until next time,
stay strong,
get creative,
and keep exploring.
We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.